like I've learned that apparently Arsenal fans are like universally hated team. It's crazy how toothless Arsenal have become. Like it would be real nice to have somebody like that in the team.
I feel like they've coached out of the game shots from the edge of the box.
Sometimes you just have to whack it. I think for me, I try not to put the blame on a specific player, but today I'm going to do that.
Arsenal's been a more recent love. I've been an Arsenal fan for about 10 years now.
Okay.
So it started off. I just got like family members traveled to London for just like work trips and stuff like that. Brought over at that point. Whenever we had like the Invincibles era, so I had an Henry jersey from back in like I think it was like '06. I was familiar, but I wasn't really fond of them. And I really started to kick in like 2014, 2013. I love to watch Mesut Ozil when he joins Arsenal. That kind of just clicked it for me. That kind of honed in who I was going to support. And then since then, I've been just a like supporter. I haven't been able to go to any games, obviously, because it's a bit of a trek for me. But then I'm doing that hopefully soon. But I mean, following as much as I can. It's been interesting though, like developing my fandom from so far away that I don't actually interact with Arsenal fans other than text messages to you, Afo. It's all been just like interactions, like observing social media, which obviously isn't real life, but like, and everybody knows like Arsenal fans online are just insane. Like it's such a crazy reaction fan base. Like learned that apparently Arsenal fans are like universally hated team.
Yeah, we're not light
online. I know, yeah. I've learned that. I don't know. I didn't grow up with that, so this is all like new information to me. But it was just interesting developing that fandom of Arsenal, especially at that point, because like 2014 to like 2021 or so was not the best of times. So it was interesting like getting in at that point because we had like the year where we came second against Leicester. No, it was I think it finished second. I don't know. It fell off at the end. Yeah. From there, it just kind of like slowly declined. I mean, I went through the Wenger out era, and then Emery. So then, just going with that, it's been so interesting to like develop that because I don't have any interaction. So, and I'm not going to just to see everything from afar was just very interesting.
How early are you waking up to watch the Arsenal games?
It depends. The earliest I've been up, it's been about the earliest games start around like 6:30, depending on where I'm sitting.
So 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so it was actually worse during like there were some games like when like the World Cup was on where I was waking up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., stuff like that, or just staying up all the way through. But in terms of like Arsenal specific, yeah, it's about 6 a.m. is the earliest it would be. Those are like the noon games on like Saturdays. That's like the earliest I'll get up. But I mean, I'll watch every Prem game I can. Provided I don't have anything going on with the kids. I've watched every game. I have 7,000 subscriptions to be able to watch all the different competitions. But I watch as much as I can. I really am like I know it's kind of silly to say I'm diehard fan. I never did, but I mean I truly feel like I am. Like it got to the point where it, like the results actually affect me. Look, I'm good today, but I've adjusted at this point. But it was getting the banter era.
Because you're still here, mate. You're still here. I'm here. Obviously, I've been a fan for a hot minute now, and I've tried to separate myself from the club a little bit because it can ruin my whole week, my whole weekend, and I was just like, I can't let this club have that hold over me anymore. So I'm impressed that you with it. So well done to you, man. What were your thoughts? I'm assuming you watched the game today as well. What were your thoughts on that?
I did. It's crazy how toothless Arsenal have become. I think I've always obviously I've always rated back, but I think I've even somehow underrated his impact on the club and like the attack overall. Like losing it, everything has just completely. Ethan Nwaneri finally happened, but he was starting to kind of hit the back of the net, and he gets injured. Jesus he finally starts to get some sort of form. Now he looks like he's out for that injury. He stretched it off. He's already had knee issues, so it was pretty painful. Still shocked that they didn't bring any attackers in. I know they brought in Sterling. I'm like, well, we have to do something. Let's just loan in Sterling. He's there. He actually looked like the best attacker today. At least he was at least the only one that seemed to be willing to take his man on. But I can't believe how poor it's gotten. I know that, I mean, everybody's going to learn, and some of the chances he's missed have just been hilariously bad. I don't understand how he's doing some of these things. I've been a pretty steady defender of his, but I don't know that I can it's tough now, especially with how it's to be such a confidence-based player too. Him and Jesus too had the same issues where if they would have any, it would kind of snowball. But I just at this point, like, they have to bring somebody in. I know it's January's tough. But I think it hurt more that, like, as I do, because I don't speak to too many Arsenal fans. Like, I was looking online just to see the reactions, like also seeing that the main striker they were linked in within the summer, Sesko, had like a complete absolute end today for Leipzig. You see stuff like that, and like, I wish, like, it would be real nice to have somebody like that in the team.
Yeah, no, look, I feel for you guys because watching today, Arsenal were by far the better team. They had way more of the possession, way more of the territory. But I agree with you; they just didn't have that, like, penetration into the box. I feel, I was really surprised to see how badly they didn't create chances, because being so dominant in the game, you would expect them to have. Half. I thought the first half was really poor. Like, Man United offered absolutely nothing in that game. Absolutely honest to say that, we shouldn't have won the game. Even still, that you guys didn't create anything. The attack was very negative football. Just bounce on the counter attack. I will say I was quite impressed with not the result, but like the dogged performance. Being able, they wasted time. They got physical with Arsenal. I didn't appreciate Bruno's, like, mental breakdowns every 5 minutes in the game. Look, we managed to get the win in the end, so I'm not going to hound him too much for that. But I feel like Arsenal, they're there or thereabouts. They just need that Saka, the additional striker. One thing that Arteta has done is buy players who can do loads of things, instead of focusing on players who can just put the ball in the back of the net, players who are just pure midfielders, players. He wants all his players to be able to do a little bit of everything, which I think is in you guys at the moment, and especially with a Man United team that doesn't have a lot of confidence right now. Spending so much. So when I was watching, I don't know if, Afo, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. I feel like they've coached out of the game shots from the edge of the box, because there were so many times where I see Arsenal passing it around the edge of the box. I'm just like, yo, like, I was sitting, I went to the game today and I was sitting behind the Arsenal goal for the first half, and literally there were so many opportunities. I was like, no, just have a crack. Then the defense is going to start to think, okay, they're going to shoot from the box. Let's like try and let's close in on them, and then you can slip in something in behind. But that's not the way Arsenal obviously play. But yeah, obviously happy as a United fan to get the result in the FA Cup. It's a trophy that we kind of need. The league is already over for us, and we're out of the Carabao Cup. Afo, your thoughts?
Yeah. So in terms of, to answer that question about the shooting, I think the players are typically in the positions where they can strike the ball are either Gabriel, Odegaard, or Saliba. In terms of, like, in the middle of the goal, Odegaard, his immediate reaction every time he gets there is to think, how can I play a through ball? So his instinct isn't to shoot every single time, unless he gets the ball from the side and then tries to dribble in, then shoot. So
exactly right. I don't think you should shoot every single time, but I think it should be
more of an option.
Yeah,
and Odegaard can strike the ball very well. Declan Rice, again, can strike the ball very, very well. But again, Declan Rice is picking up the ball on the left side of the box. So again, does he fancy taking his chances from there? If you want to be right in the middle or towards either side a little bit. And we're not getting in all of those positions or opportunities to do that. Or when we do try and strike it, there's already a defender there and we're ready. I think for me as an Arsenal fan, one of my frustrations with Gabriel Jesus and Havertz is when they have a moment where there's a little bit of a gap to attack and shoot, they seem to chop and to wait and then shoot instead of just whacking it. Sometimes you just have to whack it. And I think for me, as an Arsenal fan, it's so annoying to watch. Trossard, when he first came in, I thought, do you know what? I think we've got it. I think we've got someone that's going to be scoring chances. And then all of a sudden, it feels as if this season and the back end of last season, I guess maybe he's a confidence player as well, but he doesn't take his chances either. Again, doesn't seem to be as ruthless. And when you've got an attack that's full of no one that's ruthless, you're in the tough games where somebody just need that one chance, or the other team just needs one chance, and then they're in the game. It creates problems. And found the game very, very frustrating. I had a feeling it was going to go the way it went, especially with all the misses. I think for me, I try not to put the blame on a specific player, but today I'm going to do that. Today I'm going to call him out. I think Kai Havertz, for me today, let the boys down a little bit. Again, I think there's a bunch of players that didn't do their job well enough. Because it happened in the last game as well against Newcastle when we were 2-1 down. I had opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net quite a few times. Even Trossard, again, I think out of all the chances, Trossard's one was probably the best one, where De Ligt came in and then was able to clear it. For me, Trossard didn't show any of that dog, and that's something that we've been criticised so much for in the past. He had a great opportunity. I think Alan Shearer said it perfectly. In that situation, you don't even care. You put your body, your foot, your head, your whole everything just to try and get the ball into the back of the net, and you go in with the ball. Instead, he was trying to keep it cute, keep a little touch to it, and he got cleared. And now we're in a situation out of the FA Cup, 2-0 down, going to Newcastle, and we seem to struggle against Newcastle every single time. I think we're 4 points behind Liverpool in the league, and then we got Champions League as well, where I don't know. Again, not necessarily feeling totally confident about that. So, and I did a short clip where I recorded and I posted on TikTok my reaction. But now my concern for Arteta is, and you tell me, the atmosphere at the Emirates seemed to be a bit chilled to me. Like, I think Arsenal fans, we're getting a lot of injuries. There's rumours coming, liquid as we think we are. So now we have a situation where we don't bring another attacker. Then you have to start questioning, are we a serious club? Are we a club in and about, or are we a club that generally wants to win and are going to do it?
Yeah, I mean, from sitting in the crowd, people were not very happy at all. Before I talk about that, I'll say shout out to Raheem Sterling. I thought he actually played really well today, and he provided some of that penetration I was talking about. Like, he took on the Man United defenders and quite often got past them. So shout out to him. He had a rough period since joining the club, right? He hasn't played that impressive. But in terms of like the atmosphere at the club, the problem with Arsenal is you guys, I mean, Blaine, you would have seen it from your reactions on. They love a head to chop off, and unfortunately, that could potentially be. I don't think Arteta's in any risk of losing his job, but in terms of the support that this club is going to get, like everyone in the crowd was saying, this January we need to get a striker, and even now with Jesus going down, it's even more important that we bring in someone in January, not that you wait until the end of the season, because obviously the league is at a situation where you can't afford to lose points right now, right? So you got to make sure that you get the most out of that. Yeah, I mean, people were frustrated, but I think they understood. It's the FA Cup. They're not going to lose too much sleep over it. But obviously losing to United was not something that any of the guys in the stadium wanted to experience, especially when United Emirates for a pretty long time now. So I was pretty happy to be there. But yeah, I think Arsenal's going to be okay moving forward. I don't see you guys winning a cup this year, but yeah.
Yes. So one thing I want to mention, and I get on Onana, and this is my first time watching this second keeper. I think his name is Bayindia. I don't know.
Terrible. He was terrible.
Your keeper was terrible today.
I thought his long kicks from goal, like I think maybe 4 or 5 straight out for a throw-in. In terms of shot stopping, yeah, fantastic. He saved a penalty, so fantastic. I think Harsh calling him terrible, but for all his goal kicks to end up in a throw-in territory is ridiculous. I like absolutely ridiculous. But you
know what? I actually didn't notice that so much. Maybe because I was so uptight, and what I was watching was whenever Arsenal got the ball. So again, I didn't notice he kept kicking the ball out for a throw-in. Interesting enough, again, which is again, I'm not surprised he saved 2 penalties. So, but I thought it was good, and I think for me, from what I've seen, my initial reaction is I prefer him over Onana. That's like my initial reaction. But hey, again, give him a couple games, he might show his true colours. But today might have just been a fluke. But I thought he looked really, really good today. So shout out to him. And
yeah, he's the cup keeper for a reason. Awesome. He did well in the FA Cup. Keep doing well in the FA.
Stay there, yeah. He should stay there.
Stay there. Enjoy it. Where I go. Yeah, just stay there. That's my opinion.
I'm a different type of rock star. I got class and I got Henny overflowing up my shot glass. And yeah, I know I'm not a keeper, but can you be my mama seater by the time I'm done with